my soupy poopies? My roopy poopies? Today we're going to be reviewing and speaking about the straight-to-film Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, a piece of cinematic phenomena. Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, released in October of 1999, was the second action of the Hanna-Barbera series right after the Scooby Doo Zombie Island, which had great accolades. This was expected to do similar as that one did, however it did not receive the same accolades. But I think it still deserves them due to certain aspects of the film. The actual VHS included the pilot of the Courage the Cowardly Dog show, so a nightmare to say the least. From very strange voice acting to very interesting animation styles, this film has some key points that I would like to speak with you about today. So, let's watch this together. To begin the film, we see them in the scariest place of all, a museum. First off, we've got Greek goddess Velma. Okay. And why did they slay with Freddy in this fuck-ass box? Anyways, this is a very interesting thing that they've done ever since the very original Scooby-Doo cartoon, so I really like the callback to that. They even put it in the live-action one where they all dress up in a museum situation and act like they're mannequins. Anyways.
Professor! Behind you! Yeah!
One thing Scooby-Doo is gonna do is he's going to use them damn sound effects.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
Where are Shaggy's nipples?
Yes! The trap works, Scoob! Yeah! Give me 4!
This isn't a question of gender. Where is Norville's nipples?
I guess what should I expect with a talking dog, but the least you could do is put the nipples on the man.
Did you actually know that Shaggy invented the wolf cut? All you bitches are actually his clones. Classic, being chased up the T-Rex skeleton by the buff giant mummy Viking men from ambiguous country and historical time. Also, why are they so big and buff? Okay, back muscle. Seriously, where are the nipples? They turn out to be the professors that want money for their projects, so why are they big and meaty and giving Jim X Bro times 1,000? We have the gang: Velma, Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, Freddy, the professor, 2 muscly men. Now we have hipster chick number 1.
I don't believe it! You're Ben Ravencroft, the famous horror writer!
Of 5 billion because he's a basic bitch. Goatee, ponytail, hipster glasses, ugly pants, ugly blazer, ugly man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to upstage you.
Right, and do you know who voices Mr. Hipsy Chick number 1? Tim Curry. Do you know who Tim Curry is? Dr. Frankenfurter. Also, how did they get Tim Curry? How did they get Tim Curry? How did they get the Dr. Frankfurter? I'm wondering, how did they get Dr. Frankenfurter in this film? He is a super fan. Something I know a little bit about.
I know you're mentally ill.
He also rumoredly didn't do the live-action Scooby-Doo film because he, quote, hated Scrappy Doo, as we... I know, he supposedly hated Scrappy Doo, as you should, and so he refused to do the movie, but this turned out to actually be a rumor that he then squashed the beef with and said, no, I have no hate for Scrappy Doo, he didn't say I love Scrappy Doo, because nobody loves Scrappy Doo, but he said that he would do any film for Scooby Doo, and that's why he went on after this one to do Scooby Doo and the Goblin King, which if you want, I could do a film on, as well. But anyways, they got Tim Curry, which is impressive, but he's a fan because Scooby Doo's that good.
Oh, you want to get fucked up? You want to get... What is your...
Mr. Ravencroft, I am a huge fan of your work. I have read all your books, which, in my opinion, are the best horror stories ever written.
So does Velma read smut? So Mr. Hipsy Chick Tim Curried Ravenclaw Butthole, he says, just kidding, I'm actually a super fan of all of y'all. Please sign my butt cheeks. And he takes them to his hometown, show them around. I'm not really sure why, but he's like, y'all get in my car, let's go. And then the only one who takes that opportunity is Velma. So they ride in this ugly car to Oakhaven, New England vibes. It's supposed to be like October-ish, fall, autumnal season. It's giving very Amish. It's giving very fall. It's giving very pumpkin spice and everything nice.
Hey, Corey.
Ben, my boy!
Ben, my boy!
And I see you brought some friends and their dog.
Rod? Where?
Also, I think it's interesting that not only is it in this movie, it's in another one as well, but Scooby Doo just doesn't recognize himself as a canine. Every time they say, there's a dog, or you brought your dog, or who can't have a dog in here, he goes, there's a dog?
Rod? Where?
We get into Oakhaven and it's been sold out. It's been
1 week since you looked at me.
bamboozled. It's now a tourist attraction. Old Ben is not happy about this. He thinks it's a sham. He thinks it's blasphemous. In walks Mr. McKnight, also known as Off-Brand Bill Nye, who seems to be the gift shop owner of this town, and introduced to us the witch's ghost, who is haunting the town and bringing in all of this tourism.
There's a ghost in your own backyard, Ben.
Not only that, but it's his own ancestor, the ghost of Sarah Ravencroft.
I thought we'd gotten past all this witch nonsense.
You think he did 23andMe? This is when we get introduced to the Hex Girls for the first time ever.
You may know them as one of the best bands in history, or, you know, those girls.
Anyways, we'll continue with them. Stop distracting me. They're also introduced to the Puritan Village, which is also basically like a Amish little town situation that they've built to be a replica of what Oakhaven once was when the witch was around. They do a little montage of cornhusk dolls, of candle making, Scooby Doo playing a butter guitar, trying to churn butter and then spilling it and making a fucking mess, ruining everything. He also gets in a fight with a chipmunk squirrel rodent situation. But he's still not a dog, remember? He's just a rodent hater.
So you say a ghost has been appearing here?
That's right, young lady. Apparently, we disturbed the spirit of Ben's ancestor who was persecuted as a witch.
Sarah Ravencroft was a medicine woman who practiced natural healing and was unfairly accused because of her eccentric ways.
Then we learn about Sarah Ravencroft, Ben's great ancestor of some sort.
Damn.
Who was wrongly accused of witchcraft, and really she was a healer, a Wiccan, and just a earthy girl. She just believed in the world. She was really a healer of the people. Anyway, Scooby Doo, again, like I said, fights this rodent and finds this buckle of the shoe, which comes back later, but right now you think it is simply a shoe buckle of the pilgrim.
We found all sorts of items from the old colony when we cleared this area for construction.
How about a book?
A book?
How about the book? The book. Then we hear that Ben is a little upset that they've actually been gentrifying his neighborhood and redoing everything and tearing things up and digging up old ground. And he's looking for his book from his ancestor, and we get this lovely line, the book. Spelled with the little dots over the O. The book.
You know how long I've been searching for Sarah's journal to officially clear our family name.
Scooby and Shaggy are famished as per usual, so they'll go over to Jack's diner where they have the most delectable, delicious, scrumptious looking meal I have ever seen in animated history. I want to eat every single thing that they ever included in this scene. While the rest of the gang, Daphne, Freddy, and Velma, go to his studio to hang out, talk shit.
I wrote all of my early novels here. Now I spend most of my time in Europe, but I come back once a year to recharge my batteries.
Hipster bitch. I think Velma likes his smut that he writes because why are these two having a key?
Go ahead, Velma. Sit down.
Talk about that 90s computer. We learned that Sarah is actually a crunchy mom and she was healing people with plants and seeds and bark and trees, and she was against Big Pharma, which okay. And we learn more about the book. It turns out to be all of her witches' spells, casting, healing properties, everything that she ever did. Her little diary, her journal, her recipe book. Supposedly says that if he has that, he can clear her name, which she's already dead, but okay. He claims that he cannot find the book. He searched everywhere for the book. They want the book. Eat, 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 slay, slay, slay. The rest of the gang comes and body shames Shaggy and Scooby, fat shaming them. Then we see that everybody's waiting for the ghost to show up. The ghost does not show up.
I was hoping to have a little chat with my ghostly ancestor.
Ben starts to be poo-pooing and joking around, which I'd like to see this bitch do a Ouija board and then joke around, okay? Then everybody's talking about how he's a freak. Daphne said, damn, he's really into this journal. What the hell is in there? I'm telling you, it's smut. Shaggy and Scooby then pull a Johnny Bravo and pull their gut into their chest to impress these sexy women who turn out to be the Hex Girls. But they think they're witches because they got fangs and they're sexy women. Because those can't be real unless they're evil witches. Sexy women. Walk, walk, fashion baby. Also, what the hell is Scooby Doo doing Johnny Bravoing? Because these are women. He is a dog. But I guess, as we remember, he does not recall being born a canine. So Scooby and Shaggy get on their fitness girl era. They run down the street away from the witches. And then there are skinny girls. Turns out to be a full moon. Then we see scary mellow yellow queen. And apparently she throws fireballs like this is Mario. Okay. Then we have a classic. Everybody falls down on the ground on top of each other. However, Velma keeps on her glasses, but Daphne does get sat on. We also get this. Scary. Then Shazzy's explaining to Velma how they threw fireballs, and she finds on the ground some pussy powder, and she goes, they threw what? Fireballs? But really it's just sparkly dust at this point, rubbing between her fingers. And so then they're going to decide, we're going to solve this mystery because there's a bunch of twigs on the ground, the trees are cut down in a straight line, and there's pussy dust everywhere. So what's happening?
This is getting interesting, Ben.
Then we get a little music intro from the Hex Girls. You finally are meeting them IRL. And they're giving you grunge, they're giving you alternative, they're giving you rock, they're giving you Phil Collins drum solo.
I'm gonna cast a spell on you.
The original emo, the original goth, the original Adam and Eve was actually Thorn and the girls. Period. Then, after they meet the Hex Girls, turns out they're all super fans of Mr. Hipster Shithead, but they're so busy with their performance that they're going to actually leave now and peace out, that's all. They were just rehearsing. Well, Velma and the gang are very suspicious of them because, one, they are prejudiced. Number two, they think that the little bombs that they used to blow up pyrotechnics at the end of their show was the same as that pussy powder we saw earlier. So they are suspect number one. They find some tracks that then lead them to a barn where they then see none other than the mayor. Suspect number two. What is he doing in the middle of the night outside of this barn? You don't know. But then Shaggy and Scooby are gonna go follow him and continue throughout the town while Velma and Ben decide to see what's inside of this barn that he has just left. We get this weird makeout scene with Shaggy and Scooby, which, where did they get those clothes? What's happening? And what? So suspect number one is out there making the men turn gay. And suspect number two is out there making Freddy ditch Daphne.
Are you sure you're not just stuck on Thorn, Freddy?
This bitch.
So nothing is going good for the gang right now.
Dream sisters.
Bad dreams, Sister Thorn.
Velma dives headfirst into this barn and dies. but somehow she miraculously comes out the
Come
front.
on.
After becoming gay and whatever, they then continue following the mayor around the town, and Shaggy and Scooby discover that not only is the mayor doing all of these suspicious errands in the middle of the night, he also enters into the barn yet again, where they then meet again Mellow Yellow Witch Woman. So we only can believe that it must be the mayor because he was in the barn at the same time as Mellow Yellow Witch Girl. And we also see that Thorn is performing some kind of sadistic ritual. So therefore, she is evil. And therefore, she could also be the witch. Keep you on your toes. Let's talk about the physics of this wall. And then they get bamboozled and busted
The big
by the
idea
mayor
running
himself
over me.
when he comes up and says, "Why are you talking shit about me behind my back?" And then they're explaining to him that you're suspect number one, bitch. Then we get this iconic line.
I think we should leave. Huh?
What?
Let's leave.
You've got a plan, right?
Here's what we're going to do.
Here's what we're going to do. Fred, you're going to go.
Before they leave, she wants to do one more thing, collect one more clue. So she brings the Hex Girls back. Everybody's back for one night and one night only. And then Miss Mellow Yellow herself comes out yet again. So we're like, oh my god, it can't be the mayor because he's there with them. He just tried to prove his innocence. And it can't be the Hex Girls because they're standing on stage giving face. So who is it in the Mellow Yellow with the pointy titties? Because it's not the Hex Girls and it's not the mayor. So who is that flying through the air?
They be like, yo, what the fuck is it gonna take to get rid of this bitch? You can't get rid of me, bitch. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going no fucking where.
Then we get the classic life alert.
Help me! I've fallen and I can't get
And
up.
they smack the shit out of Miss Mellow Yellow. Oh. Here it comes. Unmask the bitch. Yaka. Oh my god, it's Ben Nye. Oh my god, Ben Nye is Miss Thorn's father? Yeah, hot girls have dads too sometimes. Hot girls have daddy issues too, okay? Then it turns out it's not just her Mr. Bill Nye, but it's actually a hot fuzz situation. It's all of the townspeople running this little situation to try to get more tourists to their town because somebody wants to go see a haunted town more than an unhaunted town, especially in the New England area.
You are a scammer.
So the mayor is innocent at this moment. The Hex Girls are innocent at this moment. It seems this mystery has been solved. They all go back to Mr. Hipster's house for a little hot chocolate or something to calm down the nerves. Then of course they ask the Hex Girls about their rituals because they're just so interested on what the frick they were doing in that little cabin. Turns out that they're eco-goths and that they're actually doing rituals to heal their throat. So basically she was making a cup of tea and like I said, they're using their prejudice against these hot pretty girls. Then while they're having the key, Ben Nye and the mayor come back to Ben's house and say, actually, we're freaking liars. Yay! And they dug up ancient Ben's, Sarah, whatever the hell, Ravencroft's grave. They're actually grave robbers and they are cursed now because you don't dig up graves, you don't dig up dead bodies. It stays down there for a reason. What did I say earlier about the Ouija board? You don't do that. So, then Velma goes, actually, you know what? Since you didn't find the book, I know that Shaggy found this buckle. Remember the buckle that he put on his shoe that Scooby found from the chipmunk or whatever? She goes, actually, this looks like the buckle from the journal or the book in this painting of Sarah on the wall. So let's go back to where they found the book and let's go find that goddamn groundhog. Then they find the tree that Sarah Ravencroft apparently did her practices at. And you know what? Turns out maybe that's where the grave was. Then they obviously bribe this dog with some Scooby snacks because inflation. Not one, but 3. And so then he digs into the ground to find, again, more of this unmarked grave. He digs, and then he digs some more. And you know what he finds? He finds a treasure chest. What's in that treasure chest? You're asking? I know, you're eager to see. Tim Curry then opens up the treasure chest.
Kinda evil to belong to a Wiccan healer. Ben, that doesn't seem to be a journal at all.
Because it isn't, Velma. It's a spell book.
Can girls not have skulls on their books no more? I can't have a journal with a skull on it without being satanic. Okay.
She was indeed a witch.
A real witch? Heavy.
God forbid a woman has a hobby. And again, a weird way of saying the word book. A spell book.
Bell book.
I know Tim Curry's a theater kid, but my God, did he have to deliver on these lines like that? Then they break the kind of weird line of disbelief here, because every other Scooby Doo movie, there's no magic, there's no such thing as Wiccans and warlocks and witches and magical things. However, now all of a sudden that's fine, and there's no such thing as everyone can be unmasked. Now there's actually magical powers and things unexplained by science and logic. So
She was a fairy.
I guess that's what this one's calling it. Like, we're just breaking rules here. But turns out that not only is Ben's great whatever aunt relative person, Sarah Ravencroft, a witch, she was also evil.
Imprisoned Sarah in her own spell book.
Turns out he also paid off the big buff men at the museum originally so that he could run into the Mystery Incorporated gang. Turns out he is a freak. He wants somebody to match his freak, and that's why he planned all of this, so he could meet Miss Sarah Ravencroft, because he wants to be nasty.
Is somebody gonna match my freak?
So not only did we find out that Ben is evil, his family is evil, he also believes that his bloodline is better than everyone else, calling the rest of the town mortals because his distant 23andMe relative bloodline shows that his grandma or something was a witch.
And since Sarah's blood runs in my veins, I guess that makes me a warlock.
Also, if you think about this in like the grand scheme, did he just plan his entire life to come to this one moment of getting the mystery machine in this field with the gang to get this book? Like, he was a award-winning author, quote unquote. We saw his house was a mansion. He goes to Europe every summer. You're telling me all of that was just part of the scheme to get this spell book? You had a full life, a full education, a full career, a full history, probably some relationships, and you did all of that as part of step number 1 to 2 of getting this evil spell book. I guess men have nothing better to do. Then he turns into Michael Jackson at this one angle. He casts tornado spell. Then he turns into a slam poetry girl as he reads the spell to cast Sarah Ravencroft from the dead.
To blow away the force of light.
Just like any girl in the movie montage, he gets his makeover and gets the glasses removed and his hair taken from that ponytail, and now he's beautiful. Now all of a sudden, because he has the book, because he's bringing back his relative, he has warlock powers. So he locks up the mayor, he locks up Mr. McKnight, he locks the Hex Girls into some tree situation, but don't worry, the gang is still on their way to his demise. You know what that means? Daphne come from behind, Freddy from the front. But oh, guess what? This man has gymnast legs and can jump 20 feet in the air all of a sudden. He becomes Catwoman and is on top of the roof in this stance.
This isn't one of your silly little mysteries. You can't solve me so easily.
So easily.
Again with the fireballs. I guess that's just a part of his bloodline. Of course, he says the line.
Why? Because of you meddling kids?
Hey, we're not kids.
Commits arson. But don't worry, they're not stuck in this ring of fire. All of a sudden, Scooby Shaggy pull up in the mystery machine. Does Shaggy have his license? I don't know. Does Scooby able to be in the front seat of a vehicle? I don't know if car seat rules apply. I don't think you're supposed to put your dog in the front seat. I don't have a dog. Anyways, they save the gang and then they're going away, and Shaggy's like, you know what, we're leaving. And then the rest of the gang is like, no, we must stay and stop him. So they have a plan to stop the man. I think he might have failed the driving test, because not only did he destroy the gift shop, break the front windshield, almost decapitate and kill both the mayor and Mr. McKnight, but he's also swerving and streaming all over the place. He almost kills a bunch of turkeys. All of a sudden, Hipster Boy is blowing off the wheels with his electric green balls of magic. Now all of a sudden, the car is no longer drivable. Yet again, Mr. Catwoman on the hood of the car takes the boot. He casts yet another tornado.
Where was I?
Reads his pillow.
Dreadful dark.
And brings back
Hear
Sarah
my
Ravencroft.
cry. Bring back one who cannot die. Let the witch who perished here live again.
Finally, we see Miss Mellow Yellow herself, but she's not actually yellow and mellow. She is actually purpley pink and very freaking scary. She's got so much going on that I cannot even begin to explain. But look at those cheekbones, my god. And obviously she speaks in Shakespearean thys and thous. A worm like thee.
Leastwise a worm like thee.
But Sarah Ravencroft comes back. She turns out to be actually so evil and actually hates everyone who comes from her family. So she doesn't give a shit about Ben and Hipster Boy and anything to do with him. She says, you know what, all of this, it's gonna go. And you know what Tim Curry has while this is all going down?
But I have the book.
But I have the book. And then Ben is saying, you know what, I'm a strong, independent woman. I brought you in this world, I can take you out. Let me read my slam poem again. But it's not working this time, because guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Snot ball. He got put in a snot ball because he's a stinky little man. Him and his book got separated. You know who has the book? Sarah Ravencroft. But you know what? The gang is gonna get it back, because this is not good. Then, of course, during the great battle between the gang and the witch, she creates not only a sentient pumpkin that has weird little spider arms and legs. Also, the pumpkin makes this noise. So yeah. She also makes a giant turkey that is honestly frightening to all ends of the earth. She also still has Ben in his little snot bubble. Oh, Shaggy and Scooby get a hang of the book, but they're playing this weird game of monkey in the middle where they're tossing it between members of the gang, trying to keep it from her, but while also still not really having it in their possession, but still fun. Then they free the Hex Girls from the chains or whatever that they were wrapped up in. And then they all run away because obviously they're scared. There's this crazy witch woman running around. However, Velma pulls Thorn and is like, you can't live. We need your help. And she's like, I can't do anything. I'm simply a tea witch girl. I'm simply a goth baddie. And Velma's like, no, you are a witch yourself. And she's like, no, I'm only 1/16. And Velma's like, but that's enough, okay? Sit down, bitch. And so, you know, they play their game of tag or monkey in the middle with the spell book. They get the spell book. She starts reading this spell.
Hence for the misdeeds that you've done, which return from whence you come!
Gets sucked by the Badussy back into the Bakussy, but not before grabbing the ankles of none other than her ancestor who brought her back from the dead. Remember what I said about those Ouija boards? You don't mess around with stuff like this. She brings Ben back into the book with her, both stuck in this spell book of their own making.
I won't go back alone!
And you think, oh my god, they're about to come back out because they zoom in on the book, but nope. Remember what I said about arson? Comes back to bite you in the butt, burns the book.
Ben Ravencroft's last book is one the world will never buy.
And like I said, the town and everything has been destroyed from not only Shaggy's unlicensed driving, but also from the whole shenanigans of Miss Mellow Yellow and her hipster ancestor situation. The town is destroyed, and the mayor is sitting there thinking, oh my god, I'm supposed to have this event tomorrow, and not only did you just destroy my town, you took my main event, and everything is ruined. But don't worry, Shaggy and Scooby are like, we've got you, sister. There's this giant frickin' turkey because for some reason the magic wore off on everything else, but not her. She is still humongo. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna continue like everything is normal and have this giant turkey as the main attraction because that makes sense. Obviously, you have to end the movie with a classic concert montage where the gang is singing and they're all wearing witch hats because, like I said, this was released in October, so it is Halloween. And you know what? The Scooby Doo gang is Halloween coded because monsters, villains, ghouls, ghosts, goblins, etc. They also need another excuse to bring back the Hex Girls because you know what? You know you like them. They know you like them. Everybody likes them. So they're gonna cast a spell on you and they're going to give you not only a beautiful song, but they're also going to give you a eco-conscious sustainability statement because they're eco-gods. So that was the beautiful game, the beautiful film of Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost. So not only is it a little uncanny, a little bit unaligned with the other Scooby-Doo franchise stuff, it's also its own standalone beautiful masterpiece. Like I said, we get the book, the Hex Girls, and a couple other iconic bits and pieces of cinema in this movie. So I'm so glad you watched it with me, and I'm so glad I could point out the best pieces and parts. That's all I have for today. If you couldn't tell, I really love Scooby-Doo. I hope you do too. If you'd like to see any other Scooby-Doo movies reviewed or talked through, let me know down below because obviously I have them all on VHS or DVD. I'd love to do some more. This one I dressed up as Scoobert Doobert himself, obviously. This costume is for a child because this was mine when I was 6. So, obviously I've grown, so I cannot fit my arms in these tiny little armholes. But I like this costume nonetheless because have fun. This movie for me is going to be a 4.75 out of 10, 5 stars. I don't have a Rotten Tomatoes or whatever that is. I don't really know the exact rating system, but that's mine. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed. I took a lot of inspiration for this one from Mike's Mike. I cannot do an Australian accent for the love of God, but if I could, I would have done it this whole one just in honor of that man because I love him. That's all for now. I hope you've enjoyed. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, give it a like anyways. Leave a comment down below. And that's gonna be all from me. I'll see you in the next one.